Okay, good morning, class. Last week, we already introduced the course. So you know the course description. So you know that this class is designed for sophomore of nutrition and health science. Okay, so today we are going to learn what is anorexia and bulimia. So this is the overview. Okay, you can see that we will learn definition, symptoms, warning signs, and comparison and contrast. We're gonna compare the differences and similarities between anorexia and bulimia. Okay, and so this is the learning objective for this course. By the end of the course, you will be able to define terms, some technical terms related to anorexia and bulimia. And also you're going to describe symptoms, identify some warning signs, and also differentiate the disorders. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, are you afraid of being too fat? Any volunteer? Yes? Okay, we are all afraid of being too fat. And also, are you afraid of being too thin? Sure, no? Okay. So if you have to choose one option, would you rather be too fat or too thin? Okay, we don't want to be too fat because there could be some heart disease, right? So we know that this is a concept that everybody has, that we don't need to be too fat. Okay, so we need to know what is the definition. The first one, anorexia, you can see the definition. They believe they are overweight. Okay, so they believe they're overweight, so they don't eat anything. And then for bulimia, it's a life-threatening eating disorder typified by binging. Binging means that they eat a lot of food. And then the second one is purging. They force themselves to vomit because they feel guilty. Okay. So there are some symptoms. For example, for people who suffer from anorexia, because they think they are overweight. So basically, they are underweight. Okay, in reality, they are underweight. And then they are afraid to gain weight. So they starve themselves, they make themselves hungry. They rather be hungry. And of course, they may have some psychological problem because they think that they can control their weight. However, they cannot control their mental problems. So they rather don't eat, and then it can mask their psychological problems. And there are some warning signs. So when you have this kind of problem, you need to be aware. Maybe you have anorexia. For example, you are easily get tired, and also you have trouble sleeping. Okay, insomnia means you cannot sleep very well. And then you may faint, feeling cold or dry skin, and also the thin air. Thin air means that you got less hair. Okay, and on the other hand, for bulimia, okay, the first disease is anorexia. For the second one is bulimia. Bulimia, you can see that these are the symptoms. For example, they do not like their body. However, they binge, they still eat a lot. However, they regret because they feel guilty. So they abuse laxative. Laxative means that it will increase your bowel movement. You will go to the toilet very often. And then they also abuse diuretics. So it will increase urinary production. So you may go to business, go to the toilet. And also they go fasting. Fasting means that they don't eat anything. Okay, and they even exercise compulsively. Okay, overdo the exercise. And there's also some warning signs. The first one, they eat uncontrollably, followed by forced vomiting, like binging and purging. And then they don't eat some specific food because they don't want to gain weight. And also dehydration, you may lack water in your body. And then number 4, feeling depressed and also feeling anxious. And there are some similarities between these two eating disorders. The first one, they are all unhealthy behavior aimed at controlling body weight. And second, they are afraid of gaining weight. And then the third one, they're all life-threatening health consequences. And the last one, abnormal eating patterns. However, there are also some differences. Okay, for anorexia, it's an extreme food restriction, so they don't eat anything. And for bulimia, it's binging, and then feel guilty, and then purging. And number two, for anorexia, they're overweight. For bulimia, they overly critical of themselves. So you can see there are 4 differences. Okay, so let's summarize and review. You can see that for anorexia, it's a weight control obsession, psychological masking, and physical symptoms. And then for bulimia, they have abuse, diuretics, laxative, and also they are binging and purging. Okay, so at the end of the course, you can see this is a wrap-up activity. You need to form 5 groups of 4 and prepare a piece of paper. And try to write down anything that you learned in this class within 5 minutes, and then submit paper to me. Okay, so before next class, you need to do the exercise and preview the assigned article. Thank you for your attention.